Alright everybody, my Prusa Mini came in a little bit early, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot, try to live stream it. Hopefully everything looks and works okay. I'm actually using an old MacBook to stream this because I don't have a good computer near my maker corner. And I'm also using my webcam off my CR10. I've just got it pointed at the table that I'm going to build the Prusa Mini on. So if you jump in, just say hello, and I'll try to be checking this, but this probably isn't going to be too exciting, but I just figured, what the heck, just give it a shot. Alright, so I got to grab the Prusa. I actually don't have it down here, so I'll be right back. Alright, actually I did have it. It was right behind me. I forgot I brought it down. So, alright, this is interesting. So the box is kind of the usual trash bag with some colorful, I don't know, like a hexagon print. Hopefully that's showing up alright. Check OBS, yep. Okay, I'm going to make me a little smaller on here. There we go. Okay, so here goes. Hopefully everything's all in order. Not really sure which side's up, but it shouldn't matter. There we go. Cool, alright. So I've got it out of the bag, just about. And I'm going to take it out of the box. Yeah, here we go. I'm trying to make it where you can see this okay without dropping it. Hopefully, actually, I'll move it down here. Alright, so we've got, it's like the usual congratulations. And by the way, if any of you are waiting on your Prusa Mini, I happened to order mine probably about 30 minutes after it was announced at ERRF. So I was in line pretty early. I know they were trying to get everybody's mailed out before Christmas that ordered one. So okay, we got some stickers, we got a manual, and Joe Prusa already made a video on this, which was kind of cool. He himself was showing how to build it, and I watched that, so I think I'm somewhat prepared. Got some gummy bears. It's kind of a smaller pack than maybe what came with the Mk2, but yeah, it's good stuff. Got a little sample filament here, so, and then this looks like it's the spool holder. So this is kind of interesting. It's like more of a bearing style, maybe. And then power cord, so I'm going to put all that over here. And then I think that's the USB, yep, USB drive with firmware. And here's the bearings. for the spool holder. There's a two-part deal there. And then you've got an accessory bag. So in the accessory bag are accessories, some wrenches, screws, and some spare. I like how they always include spare parts. I know the Mk2 had a lot of those, or the Mark III. Alright. Alright, here's the little steel sheet. I actually got both the steel sheet and the PEI, so at least I think I did. Yeah, I'm not going to open that yet. I'll wait. Alright. Oh yeah, here's the PEI. So it's only about a 7x7 plate, but that's surprisingly large enough for a lot of prints. I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, we got the LCD screen. This is pretty cool. The LCD is actually like a little bit different design than what you normally see. So not your standard rep display. Okay. So this looks like it's the bed and the motor and maybe some rods. And I hear a bearing sliding on there somewhere. Oh, those are T-nuts. Yeah, there's T-nuts that are in the side that you have to connect the frame to. It's kind of nice that they've already got that done for you. The other thing that I think's interesting on here is they used, looks like it's hard to tell. It's probably PET G is my guess. But these parts look very well printed. No ghosting on the letters, which is nice. So that's probably because they were printed down like that. One of the challenges that I've always had with the moving beds is the ghosting. So I'm not a big fan of them, but with something this small, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. Yeah, so they printed these on the textured plate downward. Alright. Now this looks like the Z axis and the part of the frame. Oh, that's interesting. So the motor's kind of at an angle, which is cool. I think it connects onto here. So, yep. Alright. That's pretty sturdy. Also, looks like pretty good quality prints there. And then we've got the 24-volt external power supply. I'm going to be needing that in a little bit. Okay, I think that's about it. So, I believe I've got all the parts out. Yeah, I like that it's all included, or it's all mostly put together, especially compared to doing the Mark III build. This is going to be a lot simpler. I did build one of those. I think it took me around maybe 6 hours. So, I'm not seeing anybody in the chat yet. Alright. So I'm going to try and follow the directions. It may take me a little bit longer to do that, but stick around and feel free to jump in and say something or chat if you want. I'll try to keep up. Alright, so the first thing we're going to need the spare parts bag, which has the Allen key, I believe. Actually, it doesn't. It says I need an Allen key. I've got plenty of those if it's not included. Maybe it is in here, I'm just not reading it right. Yeah, it's in there. So the Allen key is in with the wrench. It says only the Allen key is required for the assembly. Other tools will be used for maintenance of the printer. Oh, that's pretty nice. So it's a 2.5mm Allen key that you need. That's all you need. And we've got, looks like a surface cleaner and a acupuncture needle. So this can be useful for clearing clogs. Probably won't need that anytime soon. And we've got some, these are the screws here, so make sure one of them's a spare. Yeah, so I'll use the accessories one. Alright, so usually when I'm doing these builds, I go by the online manual, but I'm not even sure if the online manual's up yet. I imagine it probably is, but I think with the printer being so new, there's probably not a whole lot of comments in the online manual, and that's where you get a lot of good information, apart from what's in the official manual. So once you get your Mini, if you're waiting on one, check there and see what people have to say. Alright, oh yeah, it does say to go to prusa3d.com cheat sheet, and then that'll kind of give you a way of identifying the nuts and bolts. I don't think we need to do that because there appear to be very few screws that are required to do this. And then it says, step 3, we're here for you, so if you can't figure out what you're doing, you can go online, you can chat, or you can email their support. Alright, so step 4, we're going to prepare the Xyz Axes. Okay, I'm going to need, basically, I've really only got one choice here, so, there's like 3, like I said, there's only 4 screws total. So I'm going to need I'm going to need the long one. Yeah, so I need a 40, which I'm assuming is this guy. I need the 20, which is this guy. And then I'm going to need the 12, which I think these are both 12s. So yeah, one of the 12s. So that's it. Alright. So we're prepared. Oh, okay. It says in case your Y-axis assembly includes a PEI sheet, remove it now. Mine is not on there. So don't have to do that. Step 5. Xyz Axis preparation. So it wants me to move the Z-axis up with using my finger. So I'm going to twist that all the way up, or as high as I can get it reasonably. It says to go 3/4 of the printer height. So I'm about halfway right now. Feels nice and feels pretty good. Twisting it, no binding or anything. So I don't think I'm going to have to do much there. Alright, so I'd say that's about 3/4. Okay. Alright, release and remove the M3 screw on the box with the electronics. So we're going to set this aside, and then the box with the electronics, I think that would be, where was that? Oh, it's right here. It's part of this. Okay. So there's a little screw. It even has it circled, which is right here. So I'm going to get the Allen key out. Might as well get that out. Actually, I'm not even going to use that one because I prefer my tools. Alright. I think I got the right one. No, I got the wrong size. Okay, so I've got the screw out, and it looks like it's kind of multiple parts here. Yeah, I just realized. No, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to set that aside and set the lid aside so I don't lose it. Remove the printed cover. I just did that. Okay, lift the cover slightly. Yeah. Before you remove it completely, pull it first towards the aluminum extrusion to release both pins from holes. Oops. I don't recall seeing any pins. Not quite sure what it was referring to there. Oh, okay, it has arrows on this. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm good. That's probably a good idea to read all the steps before you start the first step, by the way. Oh. Got somebody here. Hello, Asley. Alright. Tell your friends. We're streaming the Prusa Mini now. Alright. So it says keep the box open. You will be required to connect multiple cables throughout this guide. And from what I remember, you know, there's going to be the LCD screen, the motors, that sort of thing. So yep, so the first one we're going to do is it says to prepare the LCD cable, which is the flat gray. So it's in this one here. Here's the LCD screen. Set it right there. And then here's the LCD cable. Nothing too fancy. It looks like a standard cable that you find on the RepRap displays. Alright, so it says to take the LCD cable and push it through the hole in the box with the electronics. The orientation doesn't matter, both ends are the same. Okay. Connect the LCD connector to the board. Mind the orientation of the connector. There's a notch one side. Okay, yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this thing in here. Alright, so based on the little picture here, it goes through like this. I think there's only one hole that it fits in. Yep. Okay, and I'm kind of looking at it now, so I can tell the notch is there. So I want to go in this way. Okay. I'm going to bring it up, and then it should go right in. Alright, yep. Fit in nicely. So no issues there. Okay, that stuff's done. Alright. In order to protect the cable, please follow the instructions below. Also, don't try any other orientation because it will complicate the assembly. Okay, fair enough. Carefully lay the Xyz axis on its side. See the picture. Okay. Seems easy enough. Don't stretch the cable. Okay, and start wrapping it around the box. Alright, so it's telling me to pull this out. I'm sure you have some friends, Osley. Alright. I'll tilt the axis to get... Okay. It says just to wrap it around. There's a USB there. Okay. Oh, okay. It just says to put it in here. So it's just temporarily to keep it out of the way. I was going to say that's going to be blocking that USB port if it was meant to stay like that. Okie dokie. Alright, step 9. Connecting the Y and XZ assembly. Alright, this part I remember watching pretty well when Prusa did his video. Okay, important, read the following lines carefully. You need to align the correct silver M3NE nuts on the Y-axis assembly with the correct counterpart holes on the XZ assembly. Okay, so there are a total of 3 M3NE nuts in the extrusion. The first on the right will be used to connect both parts together using the M340. That's the big one. The second will also be used to join the parts but using the 20, which is the kind of one in the middle. The third is located in the top part of the extrusion. Blah blah blah. Okay, so we'll get to that one later. So it kind of shows you. I like how it color codes these. So don't know if you can see this, but try to hold this up here. So it kind of color codes the steps. So it says the M340 is the green one, so you know which hole to kind of go with on that one. Alright, so I'm going to try and orient my thing here. Alright, so joining the parts together. So you don't actually do anything in step 9. It looks like it's just kind of giving you information. So step 10 is joining the parts together. Alright, so it tells me to orient this as such with the T-nuts. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. I realize this probably isn't the ideal camera setup, and I apologize. By the way, if anyone's having problems seeing this, just pop something up in the chat and I'll see what I can do to maneuver it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working on these T-nuts here. I'm going to align them to where they need to go so I can join the Y and the XZ axis. So this I think would be considered the Y, and this would be the XZ, which makes sense because the Y is the part that moves forward and back. Alright, so first let's prepare the Y assembly. Move the heated bed all the way to the right. Okay, to the right of me, I'm assuming, yep. So it has a nice little diagram showing me moving it there. Alright, place the right M3NE nut approximately in the middle of the extrusion length. So, okay, got it there. So what I did is I took the T-nut and I slid it over to the middle. Push both okay. But make sure it is not under the heated bed. Ooh, good thing it said that, because I'm under the heated bed structure. So I got to go a little to the left. Push both parts together and try fitting the clamp on the XZ assembly directly on the M3NE nut, which you have moved to the center of the extrusion. Okay, so there should be a clamp on this guy somewhere. I'm assuming... Okay, I think I see what you're supposed to do. I think it's this guy right here. No. I need to follow. Okay, yeah, actually it is. Okay, so it looks like this kind of, this kind of goes in. I think the goal is you want to line it up so it goes into where the T-nut is. So the T-nut is right about there. Okay, yep. So now I got to stick this screw all the way in. And it says not to tighten it fully yet. So use the M340. Alright. So there's a little bit of a, you don't really know exactly where you're at. And there's a, quite a bit of distance here. So I'm going to try to flip it over. There we go. Alright. So now you can maybe see that screw poking out. So that gives me a better idea of where it's at. And I'm going to try to line it up. This is a little tougher than it looks. Maybe it looks tough too, I don't know, it probably does. Alright. I'm not making contact with it very easily. So I gotta... There we go. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Try propping it up. Nope, that's not going to work. Yeah, the challenge is, maybe if we had a box, yeah. This might help. Okay. Still not getting any contact yet. Actually, I think I did get contact. Nope. Yeah, this is a little tricky here. I'm having a hard time finding this T-nut. Part of it is I can't really see what I'm doing. Alexa, turn on the light. There we go. Yeah, thanks, Osley. This seems to be, from what I can tell, this is probably one of the tougher parts of it, is just trying to find that T-nut. So there's probably an opportunity for, whoops, there goes the screw. Probably an opportunity for a jig or something that somebody will make to make this step easier. It's really hard to kind of see where you're going with it. Yeah, just can't seem to make contact with that screw yet, with that T-nut. Huh. I think part of the problem is this table that I'm on is kind of puffy, and it's making it rise up a little bit, so I'm not getting a good, it's not fitting real well for that reason. And it's really not too easy to set it on its side. Try it again this way. Yeah, that time I think I got it in there. Yep, okay, finally. Alright, I got it in there. It said not to tighten it all the way. I think I over tightened it just a tad there. Okay. Alright, that was tough. Part of it was my table. Just because it's not letting me keep it perfectly flat. It's probably a good idea to use a flat surface when you're doing this. So thanks for bearing with me here. Alright, so we got that piece in. The second one is the M320. So hopefully you can see that. So that's going to go, that T-nut I need to, there's another T-nut for that as well. That one goes right there. Actually, I'm ahead, working ahead. So let's make sure that's what it wants me to do next. Yep. Okay, so there's a notch, so you can move this T-nut all the way over. This one should be a lot easier to get in, if the instructions are to be believed. Okay. Not sure if I'm in or not. Yep, I think I am. Yeah. Yeah, it's not biting in yet. So. Okay, I see the T-nut. I see the screw. I think it's my table again. Nope. So somehow that T-nut went past the notch that it wasn't supposed to be able to get past. Alright. Ooh. That's probably because I'm a little too loose on the M40. Oh, well that's interesting. Now it's... Alright, give me a second here. Alright, let's start over. I'm going to tighten this M40 down just a little bit more because it was a little too loose, I think. Yeah, they say not to tighten it yet, but you still have to tighten it a little bit so you can get that T-nut to sit in the slot. So this is the kind of thing that the directions are helpful for online. Yeah, these suckers are kind of a pain. I'm kind of surprised they didn't use the T-nuts that you can kind of slide in. So, because it'd be a lot easier. You could twist the T-nut on the end of the screw and then just drop them in the extrusion. So I'm really not sure why they didn't use those. That would probably make this process go a lot faster than how it's going right now. I use the drop-in T-nuts or something. I think they call them hammer nuts. I use those on my other builds, like my Hypercube Evo. Those work pretty well. Okay. All right. Once again, I think the T-nut slid in too far, so maybe I'm just not understanding these directions right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fully tighten my M40 down so I can get this in, because I think what's happening is this T-nut that's supposed to be stopping is sliding past it. Okay. Okay, yep, now it's in. So maybe that's a better way to do it, is to tighten it and then, I mean, you can always back it off. It makes a big deal about not tightening it yet in the directions, but I think you're going to be able to do a lot easier if you do and then just back it off a little bit, a few turns. Okay. I just want to make sure I can still move it as needed. Yep, okay. All right, so next up, and by the way, I see I've got about 6 people in here, so please jump in and say hello if you want. Be happy to hear from you in chat. All right, so now we're on step 13, which is aligning the Xyz Axes assembly. So now we're going to rotate the back of the printer towards you. So we'll do that. Hold the Y-axis assembly. Okay. Move the Xyz Axis assembly to the back. Okay. So I think it's just saying to slide this all the way back. Yep. And I think we're gonna, yeah, so once it hits the notch, you know you're in the right spot. Once all the parts are aligned, tighten all the screws. First the M312 at the top. So we're gonna take that out. Oh, and there is a T-nut. So it looks like the directions did not mention the T-nut here. That's okay. By now you should be used to it, and you can easily see this one. This one drops right in. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that down. Gosh darn it. I thought I saw the hole, but I guess I was wrong. Yep, that was over too much. There we go, now I see her. Okay. Yeah, these T-nuts are a pain. My recommendation is drop in T-nuts if Prusa ever happens to watch this video, which I seriously doubt he will. Alright, so that's done. So that one's tightened. Now I got to tighten the, so it says that one's for second, the 40. which is right here, the big hole. Just drop it in there and tighten her up. Okay. I wouldn't get too crazy on the tightening. Probably about so you can feel it, some pressure on it. And then the third one would be the M320 on the side. Okay, that one's done. Alright, now, okay. This is funny. It says, so now I'm supposed to eat my gummy bears, which I don't even know what I did with them. But yeah, so I guess that would be good. So apparently there are 10 gummy bears in the bag. And then you're only supposed to eat 3 of them. And you're supposed to line them carefully on the PEI sheet. So I'm not going to be doing that, but I think it's pretty cool that they put that in there. Alright, so far this isn't too bad. I think it's probably been maybe a half hour, and you know, I'm sure someone more competent than me mechanically. I'm more of a software guy, so my background is in software development. But I totally enjoy hardware, so I've been learning hardware probably for the last 10 years, especially the last 5. But I don't claim to be a mechanical guru by any stretch. Alright, so next up we have the LCD assembly. So I'm going to need an M312, which I happen to still have on my table here. It says there's a protective film on here and not to remove it yet. I know that may be tempting. I'm not going to remove it yet, so I'll do that in a little bit. Alright, now we're going to do step 17, which is mounting the LCD. Okay, I think I remember watching this on the channel, on Joe's video. So it wants me to first carefully tilt the printer on its side. Alright, I'm assuming, I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm assuming it's this side. Nope, I am wrong. I should have just looked at the picture. So it's this side. Alright, place the LCD into the LCD holder. Not really sure where that is yet. Let's see. LCD holder, it looks like it is a big round thing. Oh, it's in the back. Okay. Or I guess technically that would be the front. So I'm going to place this. Seems like I'm maybe missing something here. Oh, I see. Okay. So I'm going to place this in the holder with the screw. Seems simple enough. So there is a tilt design here, and hopefully I'm not screwing this up too bad. There we go. Oh, that's cool. You just kind of give it a little pressure and it tilts. It's a nice design. All right. Okay, now I got to connect to the LCD. Carefully remove the free end of the LCD cable from the box. It's this right here, and insert it in the socket on the board. Okay. I'm not sure if there's a particular way I need to route this. Oh, okay. Yep. So it looks like I'm going to tuck it into that extrusion, and I also need to pay attention because this can only be inserted one way. So it looks like I don't want to twist it either. I'm going to go ahead and try it like this. Alright. LCD is in. Now it says to gently make sure it's all the way in first. Yep. And then gently insert the cable inside the extrusion. Leave some slack outside. I want to check something real quick. Alright. Okay, so now you just need to, if I remember from Joe Prusa's video, Prusa's video, he ended up folding this thing in half and then tucking it in. So I'm going to try to do that. I kind of have fatter fingers. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that too. Yeah, it's not bad. I know you want to be careful. You don't want to crimp, or what's the word I'm looking for? you don't want to break any of these wires, because then you're going to need a new cable. I don't know why they don't make these round cables and then maybe just have the ends broken out. It'd be a lot easier. I don't think I've ever seen them like that though. Alright, okay, I'm almost done. Getting this thing tucked in. It's kind of a little fiddly. Alright. Yeah, this part's not too bad, but there's a little bit of a... Okay, I think that's probably good enough. As long as it's not going to sit on that. Alright, so I'll go ahead and show the camera what I just did. You can kind of see I tucked it up under there. There are feet on this, so that shouldn't get crimped. Okay, so the LCD is connected. Now I need to connect the Y-axis cables. I'm going to set it down. Alright, so I got to find the Y-axis cable. That's going to be, probably, it's the heated bed cable. Where's the, oh, okay. It's going to be underneath. Oh, it's kind of tucked in the extrusion. Alright. So I'm going to pull that out. Take the rubber band off. Not going to be needing that. Alright, it says take the motor cable and push it through a hole. So apparently there's a hole somewhere. Okay. Is that the hole they're talking about? I think it is. Oh no, they're talking about the one on the case. So it looks like there's a hole somewhere. Oh, I'm not seeing it right now. Oh. That might be kind of tricky, is that right? Yeah. Okay. Apparently you need to go underneath, and there's some kind of hole here behind this. Wow. That's going to be fun to get into. How the heck am I supposed to do that? Eesh. That can't be right. Oh. Okay, I think, so I think I've got this in the wrong position. That's why this isn't making sense. So I'm going to pull this out, and I've got to slide this back. It looks like I was, got it reversed. So instead of being in the front like this, I thought something didn't seem right there. So no problem, I'm just going to loosen these screws up. And then I'm going to slide it all the way back. Maybe loosen them a little more. One of them is too tight. Let's see. Still kind of tight. Let's try this one. You know, they always make a better idiot. So I work in software development, and we do a lot of, we create manuals and we create all kinds of instructions, but somebody always gets it wrong. And, it's just the way it goes sometimes. But this is a pretty easy fix, so I was just sliding it forward instead of sliding it backwards. So now, and sometimes that happens, sometimes you'll get to a step and you'll realize, oh, and yeah, in this case, man, that's a tight fit there, but okay, so now I'm going to tighten them all down in the same order that it mentioned before. And actually, my notch is a little off. Okay, so now I see the notch that they're talking about. The first time it just kind of pushed up against it, so that probably should have been my clue. Alright. So now I'm going to tighten this back up. Oops. 1 second, it shouldn't really matter, but okay. No. Alright, when I did that, oh boy, what I should have done is check the cable, because I tightened it on top of the cable. So now I got to pull that cable out. Hopefully I didn't damage it. I don't think I did. Nah, that's fine. Alright. So this is why Prusa has a, like, why you want to buy, you know, when you buy a Prusa you get a warranty. And people use the warranty, so I'm sure, yeah, that's a kind of a tight cable. Hopefully I got it right this time. I'm just going to tuck that back in. Yeah, that seems to make a little more sense. Alright, so I'll show the camera. It's kind of what I just did. So hopefully, yeah, the thing is all these angles are a little funky, so it's hard to kind of look at it and know if you're doing it right. Honestly, I'm looking at it right now. I'm wondering if I might even have it completely backwards based on this picture. No, I'm looking at it backwards. Okay. Oh, that's good. I was getting worried there. Okay, so now I can connect the Y motor. That was the step that I was supposed to be on. So the Y motor here, now we'll go through the little hole that it was talking about. And it does have a nice little orange tag on it that shows you where it goes, or that shows you what it is. So, okay, take the motor cable and push it through the hole. Done. Connect the connector to the appropriate socket. And it just kind of has arrows going to it, so I'm not really sure. It just says the appropriate socket, so I guess I have to hunt it down on the board. Oh, here we go. There's a blue arrow pointing to, it looks like, okay, I think I see it. The top of the board, yep. So it's got to be, yeah, it looks like it's right next to the X. So I'm hoping that's the right one. Based on the picture, yeah, there's a bunch of SMD capacitors there, and then it's got it in that middle one, which is the only one that isn't populated. Okay. And there's only, it looks like there's only one way to get that guy in, so. Alright, that's done. Okay, now I'm going to connect the Y-axis thermistor and heater, which would be this. So it says, take the cable bundle from the heated bed and guide it into the box from the top. Okay, I mean, guide it into the box from the top. I'm not really sure what it means by that. I mean, the box is open. There is no dedicated hole. Okay. So now it says thermistor and heated bed, which are these two. This is the thermistor, this is the heated bed. So I just need to connect these cables. Alright. So it looks like these, I'm just trying to see where it goes. It looks like it's near the Ethernet port. Okay. Once again, I think there's only one way this can go in. And I think I found it. So it goes here. Although what's interesting is it has it kind of going like this. So, okay. It seems a little confusing, but and the red goes on the outside. Actually, I'm going to plug in the thermistor first. So it's right above it. I think this will be easier to plug in. First, I can see it. Kind of hard to see down here. Okay. Alright, thermistor's in. Now we're going to do the heated bed. So it looks like it has to go in, I believe, this way, if I'm looking at it right. Yep. Oh, the other thing I'm going to check, there's screws on this. Oh, it's got ferrules. That's nice. So there's little ferruled connectors here. Probably not a bad idea to make sure they're completely tightened down, but I can tell these are tightened down, so I don't need to do anything with them. We'll just go ahead and plug those in. All right, anyone else in the chat want to say hello? I see there's 4 or 5 people in here. So, any questions so far? Anything confusing? I know I'm a little confused, but actually these directions are pretty good. I'm probably a good test on this. So I've already kind of screwed up a few things, but it was very easy to fix. Okay, filament sensor. I did not get the filament sensor. I don't see myself printing that much to actually need one. I don't have one on any of my other 4 machines. I know some people like them, but so I'm skipping that step. So that's step 22, 23, and 24. And then now I'm already done to the covering the electronics part. So that should be pretty easy. It looks like all you got to do is insert this on and then kind of make sure you're routing the cables, and then you put the screw in. If I remember right. Yeah, so this screw goes in here. I think it kind of sits on, yeah, it sits on top like that. So we're just going to put that back on. And it looks like we have to route, I think the heated bed wire goes through one of them, and then the Y-axis does as well. Alright, so here we go. Let's see if I can screw this one up. I don't think this one doesn't seem too bad. Now, it doesn't really say which one. Does it say which one? Yeah. So please place the second cover on the top. Extruder bundle. Ensure the textile sleeve is partially in. Yeah, you don't want any red wires or any of the wires poking out. That makes sense. The heated bed bundle, also make sure it's in there with no wires exposed. And I don't have the filament sensor, so I think all I have to really do here is make sure the textile sleeve and the heated of both bundles are underneath. Now what I don't see is, it looks like the heated bed one goes maybe to the right. I can't really tell. I don't think it really matters a whole lot. But I would think you want this one to the right because the bed's going to be over here. So I'm going to try to align them that way. And there are some tabs right here, so that's kind of nice. Okay. Yeah. Alright, that didn't seem too bad. This seems to have been the easiest step. Or one of the easier steps. So I recently built a Hypercube Evo, and it took me, so I mentioned the Mark III when I first built that. It took me probably six hours, maybe 6 to 8. I know some people can do it in 4. You can probably tell I need a little extra time on some of the stuff. So, but I will say the Hypercube Evo that I built took me at least I think it was a whole weekend. But that thing's pretty intense. A lot, it's all building a printer from scratch, so nothing's really included, or nothing comes pre-assembled like this. I think Prusa's probably going after the same market as Creality for these types of machines here. Alright, so I got that little piece back on. Screws nice and tight, no wires are exposed. I'll try to show the camera here what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to just test this, make sure the bed can move. Yep, plenty of room there. This looks like it's also got plenty of room. So I think in terms of the printer, the actual printer, it's pretty much built now. The next thing would just be the spool holder. So that wasn't too bad. I think I started maybe right around 7, a little before, so it probably took about an hour. And again, I was live streaming, so a little distracted building it. You know, I ran into a few minor issues that were easily resolved. So, but I would say, you know, if you're building this, it seems like an hour is probably going to be plenty of time. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to try to power this guy up and see if it works. Because I don't really need I've got another spool holder I can use, and that looks like it's, well, why not? We'll build it. Looks like it's pretty simple. Famous last words. Alright, in fact I printed some similar to this, so alright, so I've got one of the spool holder deals. Oh, and I'm supposed to eat some more gummy bears, so. Alright, what did I do with the other one? Here we go. Alright, so I've got both of the spool holders. Print something, yeah, okay. I will soon. This looks like it's pretty easy, so. Plus I'll be able to demo, I don't know if anybody from the Alien 3D channel's on, but I recently came up with a sample spool holder, and I can use that because I didn't get any filament from Prusa. Well, actually I got the samples. They'll probably fit in there too. All right, so it looks like there's about 4 pieces. It's got such a nice finish. I mean, they printed these really nice quality. No complaints on the quality. Maybe a little over extrusion on the Z. Not bad though. Or on the top, I should say. But actually, I think it's fine. Looks pretty good. So I'm assuming they printed them on their massive print farm. Okay, so I'm going to need all the screws, the bearings, the nuts. There's 4 of each. There's an M312, an M38, 608B bearing. Alright, and there's some anti-vibration pads. I don't know why you'd really need those for a spool holder. Guess it can't hurt. There's something magnetic in here too. Let's stick into that. Okay. Alright, so I got all those parts out. Alright, first thing we're going to do, take the base parts and insert the M3 nuts. Let's see if I can... Okay, so it looks like the nuts. Yeah, they go on this side. Maybe. Give me 1 second. My family's home and I'm going to close the door so you don't hear the noise. Give me 1 second here. I'll be right back. Hey, John. Okay, I am back. Got a drink as well. Getting a little thirsty with all this hard work. All right. Okay, it looks like a few more have joined maybe. Feel free to chime in and say hello if you want. And for those of you just joining, I've got the Prusa Mini built. Took about an hour or so. Now I'm working on the spool holder. Looks like a cool design. I'll show you the manual. You can kind of see that it's got these little support pieces so you can go in and out. It lets you adjust them. I have one just like this, but I don't have the piece that lets you adjust it, so looks like a pretty cool design. Okay, so I'm going to get all the parts out, and okay, we got some nice bearings. They're 608Zs, same ones that are used in like your skateboarding or whatever. I'm going to drop those in. So I'm kind of jumping ahead. It told me to make sure I've got this right. There's actually 4 pieces here. I think they're all identical. Yeah, they appear to be identical. So, all right. It says to insert the M3 nuts. Take the two base parts. All right. I'm not sure which one. Yeah, it's got to be. I think it fits like that. So yeah. So I'm just gonna. Oh, I see. So the nuts go in here. Sometimes it's easier just to look at the part and figure it out. Alright, they fit in pretty nice. Well, at least that one did. This one's a little loose. I don't think it's going to matter. Okay. So it's basically saying do that and then tighten it down. Put a screw in it. Okay. So I'm going to insert. Oh, I lost the nut. I figured that would happen. So I'll do one of the screws. So it says to use a 12. That looks like about a 12 to me. Yep. So it says to insert it from the top. One of the things that I'll mention too is I don't think Prusa has ever done this, at least not in the Mark II or the Mark III that I've used. But in the Hypercube Evo, they actually have, you can use the heat inserts, which I kind of like. I don't think they're really necessary for parts like this, but the idea is you heat up the nut and then you put it in. So this doesn't seem to be going in real easily. I wonder if I grab, yeah, it's almost like it's not quite long enough. Yeah. Make sure I got the right size screw. I might have grabbed the wrong one. Nope. It's definitely the 12. I'm going to push this in a little more. Oh yeah, it's definitely got some room, that's why. So it's interesting that one of the holes was loose, the other hole was not. So I'm not sure why that would be. Probably just bad. Maybe just the way it was printed. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and tighten. Okay, yeah, now it's nice and tight. And the bearing moves freely. So what's going to happen is the spool is going to sit right on top of these bearings, and you won't get much friction, which I really like. Like I said, I have one like this. I've even seen it in some cases where you end up getting under extrusion because your printer's trying to pull it too hard and it just can't do it. So this kind of helps prevent that. Alright, this one's going to be fun because, oh, actually, looks like it's going in. There's another trick that you can do here. You can get a longer screw and then draw that nut in. In this case, the nut is kind of spinning freely, so I'm going to grab a pair of tweezers. I'm just going to hold, with my tweezers, I'm going to hold the nut down a little bit just so it can't move. So, and that should allow me to tighten it up sufficiently. Yeah, there we go. And you don't want them too tight, I don't think, because then the bearings won't move. Okay, that one's good. So basically just repeat the process for the second one is what the instructions say. So this one you really almost don't even need instructions. It's pretty easy just to see it. And if you like my video, please hit that thumb. I'd appreciate it. I'm still trying to grow my channel. I think I'm up, and also subscribe, even better. Once I hit 100 subscribers, which hopefully I'll do by the end of the year, I'm planning on doing a live stream and raffling some stuff off. So I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I've got some ideas. So the sooner I get 100, the better. Alright, this is one where the hole is a little tighter, and I'm going to have to push the nut down to get it to fit. And I was able to do that. Oops. Ooh. Darn it. Unfortunately, when screws fall on my floor, I usually don't find them. So that's not good. Yeah. I've got my floor here is very hard to see anything, especially in the lighting. Luckily, I've got a whole pack. Actually, this is why they include spare parts. So I'm going to find that spare part bag. What do I do with it? Here we go. So I'm going to use see if they have one in there. And unfortunately, they do not. So if you lose a hex nut, you're kind of out of luck. Not a big deal because I do have a bunch of other ones. But I'm surprised they wouldn't have included a spare hex nut. Those things are pretty easy to lose. So, no big deal. Oh, sorry, Slim. Let me try to adjust things a little bit here so it's easier to see. Maybe my drink's in the way. Is that any better? So what I'm trying to do here, I've got two cameras, I know, yeah, I didn't realize my drink was there. Well, sorry about that. So what I'm trying to do right now is just finish up this other spool holder. Nothing real exciting. But the way these parts are printed, they're kind of inconsistent. So this one's a little tighter, and it's just barely where I can't get it to bite, so I have to push it down. There we go. And the other one was too loose. So luckily I have several M3, these are just M3 nuts, so I'm just going to grab one of my spares since it was not included in the spare parts bag, which is a little bit of a bummer. So this one, for some reason on this side, the hex nut is looser. So not really a big deal either way. This is pretty simple and should be pretty easy to get in. Alright, so that one's in now. This one, I've got to tweezer it in like I did the last one. It's just odd to me that the tolerances are different. Oh, actually, I didn't have to do it with the tweezers. Okay, so that's pretty much done. Hopefully you can see that okay. The next thing we're going to do is alright, so there's a couple parts, these little pieces here, that you basically, it looks like you just fit them in. So it says, slide both rails in the first base assembly, use the grooves, align the rail with the edge of the base. Secure the first base with 2 M3/8 screws. Okay. So there's little screw holes in here, and then there's a little slot in this base. So that's what it's saying is just put these in here, kind of how you want them. Where'd the other one go? There it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my sample filament holder that I made, and I'm going to adjust it to that width. Actually, I only should have to adjust one of them. So now these don't appear to require any nuts. These holes are not very good. I might have to clean these out. They're not bad, they're just not great. Okay, so now I'm putting the M38 in and tightening it down, just finger tight. I'm going to try to make them about the same. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in, ask them, or if I'm blocking something again inadvertently. Has anyone in the chat ordered a Prusa Mini? I think Osloy said he did. Yeah, he said he's got one coming. Anybody else? Yeah, and from what I read, if you ordered it on October 12th, I believe was when it was announced at ERRF, which is when I ordered mine, about a half hour after I saw the announcement on Twitter, you should get it before Christmas. So this one, I ordered it within a half hour. There, if you go on Reddit, there's a Prusa 3D sub there, and you can actually see where people are updating their order number and if it shipped yet. So you can kind of get an idea based on your order number where you're at in the queue, just looking at that. Something that happened with mine, they had actually told me it was going to arrive tomorrow, and then I got an email from DHL today that said, hey, it's out for delivery. So that was kind of cool. Nice little surprise, getting it a day early. Alright, so now you can see I've got one side bolted in and one side just kind of moving around. So yeah, they're saying place the spool of the filament you wish to use in the spool holder, and then they're using Prusa Mini as an example in the picture, in the manual, and then once it's aligned, remove the spool and then tighten it down again. So that's pretty much what I was planning. So unfortunately, let me grab a spool out of my other bin because let me see if I can find one. Alright, so I just grabbed the first spool that I could find that was easy to get to, which is this, it doesn't have a brand on it. I'm not even sure what brand it is. I think it's Inland. Just your typical generic blue PLA. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is move this all the way out. In fact, I think I'm going to have to move this out as well, the one that I just tightened down. So this looks like it's pretty easy to do. I'm guessing somebody will probably make a quick change version of this where you don't have to adjust screws. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe with something in the middle, or I don't know how you do it, but I'm sure somebody will figure it out. But yeah, the screws are a little bit of a drag. I guess you could just leave one loose. Alright. So that's about there. So yeah, look how nice that spins. Those bearings make it real nice and easy glide. Alright. So now I'll go ahead and tighten these down, these other screws. So the spool holder was definitely a lot easier effort. However, I will say, I think there are only 4 total screws for building the machine. I mean, that's, it's pretty amazing that they got it down to just a few screws. The T-nuts were a pain, but that's just how it is. I think, like I said earlier, I think they just need to switch to drop-in T-nuts or hammer nuts to make that easier, because it's pretty tough getting that first one in. Alright. Okay, so I've got these in. I think I'm ready for my spool. Make sure it still fits. Yep. Okay. Hey, it looks like it's either Nate or Keith that joined from Reach 3D, so hello. Yeah, so interesting story on the Reach 3D. That was one of the first printers that I ever built. Probably, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was a Kickstarter printer, and interestingly enough, the printer design of the Reach was also based on a gantry design like this, or a cantilever gantry design. So, meaning that you didn't have two on both sides. So, yeah. So anyway, there's been a lot of people that have said, hey, you can't print well on those. The quality's no good. Oh, cool. It's neat. But just from having the Reach printer, I know that you can. And I actually had sold my Reach printer probably 2 years ago to a buddy, and I mean he was getting amazing results on it, as was I. But it's the same design. I know there's other printers like what is it, the Creality Ender 2, which had a similar design. There's also the Monoprice Mini. So there's been a lot of designs that I think are just fine. I think the other key is you need a little bit smaller footprint. This design has rods where, I've also seen aluminum extrusion and with a V slot V wheel design like on the Reach 3D. But from what I've heard and seen and some of the results, I think it's just fine. So I really don't have any major concerns. I am going to try printing some taller things. Some people are saying the further you get out and the higher up you go, the more likely you're going to see artifacts. I don't know about that. I mean, this seems very rigid. So when I was moving the Z up earlier, there's really not any play in it that I can tell. So everything looks nice and tight. So I guess we'll see. Okay, what are we doing next? I think so. Now the printer's built and the spool holder's built. So that must mean, we're not completely done yet. There's anti-slip pads. Sorry guys, I know you're probably eager to see this thing printing, as am I. But I'm trying to do everything in the manual, give it the old follow the directions and do it as they want you to do it. So, alright, so these are just the anti-slip pads. Probably not a bad idea, because if you're not putting these on, your spool holder might walk away on you, especially when it gets lighter. I've seen that happen. That is kind of one downside with this type of design. When they get real light, there's just nothing to hold them down. So hopefully this will help prevent that. That's why, like what you see on the CR10, and I'm looking at it right now, you can't see, but I have my Hypercube Evo and my CR10, and those are kind of the spool holder where it's more like a roll that you set the filament on. So those work pretty well regardless of how much filament you actually have on your roll. Alright, so if you can see that, I'm just putting these pads right on the edges here. So there's 4 of them, and they just go right on the edge. So I think this is probably going to help keep it weighed down, or keep it from moving around on the spool. Now the spool could still probably walk off this, but I'm not too worried about it. Usually when you get that low, you're probably going to be swapping your roll anyway. I actually thought these were going to be for the printer, but they're not. Okay. Almost done. It's kind of staticky. Alright, anyone else, any questions or anything they're wondering about that they haven't seen yet? Feel free to post it in the chat and I'll try to answer. Alright, so yeah, that feels pretty nice. My table is a little shaky. Okay, next up we got to do, we're supposed to eat the rest of our gummy bears. And if I find my gummy bears, I'll eat them, but I don't know where they're at right now. Alright, so now I'm supposed to finalize the assembly. So I can either put, I've got a choice. I can use the steel sheet or the mini textured sheet or the PEI sheet. Gosh, I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the textured sheet. I've been a big fan of that. I had that on my Mark III for a while. I actually when I ordered my Mark III, I waited like 3 months, and they were not doing the sheet. They just weren't able to keep up with it because of the manufacturing process. So I gave up, and then I just got the PEI, and then later I found a knockoff textured sheet. So I never had the original. This one's pretty nice. I don't know if you can see that. So it's got the texture on both sides, which is pretty cool. It's a very, very light texture. The one that I had was from The King, and you guys might have heard of him. He sells them on eBay and Amazon. It seemed like his had a little bit more texture, like bigger. Alright, so you're going to set this in here. Probably doing it wrong. Yeah, so there's two little pins that come up, and you just align them. Haha. Yeah, I remember that cupcake CNC. My very first printer was a MakerBot replicator, and it was the one with the woodcut one, kind of like the cupcake. And yeah, I think by then they probably had them, but that was like around 2012 when those came out. So yeah, it's interesting to see how spool holders have evolved over the years. All right. Oh, hey Osley. So Keith is Nate's brother, and Keith and Nate also have a really cool little startup. So first of all they designed the Reach 3D printer, and if you go to, I think it's reach3d.com. That's probably not right. Let me see if I can remember the website, or Nate, if you want to type it in. But there's anyway. So it was a Kickstarter printer back in the day, and then anyway, Keith and Nate also have a really cool startup called Just Add Filament, which I recently bought a few of those kits, but they have a Jewel Thief flashlight, and I think you can still buy it, and I believe they're working on additional, but it's basically a little project that you 3D print a case for, and then you assemble and solder the electronics. So definitely something worth checking out. The other one I'll mention, and I subscribe to the monthly boxes, Alien 3D, so they also have a monthly filament and monthly project box, which is similar. Yeah, just add filament, right? And I know there's probably a little bit of lag here on the video and the chat. Okay, so where did I put the manual? All right, so now I've got the sheet on. The next step is the power supply. So this is interesting too. The power supply is in a relatively small box because it's a small power supply. It is 24 volt, but I don't think it's a whole lot of wattage. And the reason for that is it's, such a smaller printer. You don't really need anything super beefy for this. Okay, so here's the power brick. So let's see what it says. Alright, it is 160 watt max, so that's not a whole lot of power, which is kind of nice. Hey Michael, thanks for joining. So for anyone joining, thanks for joining the stream. So we're at the point where the spool holder's been built, the printer's been built. I found some filament that I'm going to try on it, and now I'm getting ready to do the power brick. So it took me about an hour tops, I think, to build the printer, and I've kind of been chatting here as well. So taking my time doing it. All right. And for anyone watching the chat after the fact, you can see where I kind of screwed up a couple things, but it was real easy to fix them. Mainly the XY gantry connection. All right, so this is interesting. On this power cord, I guess they've went to this kind of locking design, so it kind of locks into place once you plug it in. I believe it's similar to what Ultimaker does, from what I've read. And honestly, I thought MakerBot had this same setup, but I don't remember it locking on the MakerBot. But this is a very similar power supply to what the MakerBot had back in the day. So it looks almost identical. In fact, I still might have that one around somewhere. but it was a little bit beefier than this one, and it probably weighed about twice as much. Okay, so basically we're just going to plug this guy in now. I'm going to rotate it around. Here's the end that goes into the outlet. There's no 120, 220 setting, so I assume it's auto sensing. It looks like you can only plug this in one way because there's a pin. Otherwise, I'd probably figure out a way to screw it up. Alright, so that's in now. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and turn this a little bit. Go ahead and plug it in. Let's see if we got this right. Let me find an available outlet. I can unplug that. Alright. Okay, so now we're about ready. I'm going to try to rotate this so everybody can see it when I power it up. Hopefully that's not too awkward. Lost my plug. Alright, so there it goes. Apparently it was already on, I didn't realize that. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that okay. Probably not because my webcam sucks, but it did come on. So just because I need to look at it, I'm going to turn it back here. Hopefully I'll try to adjust the webcam a little bit so you guys can see the screen. Kind of a new streamer here, so bear with me. Please forgive my streaming faux pas. Alright, I'm gonna... Okay. There we go. Maybe that's a little better. So you won't be able to see my face, but I think that's a big deal. Alright, please insert the USB. Alright, so I'm going to grab the USB here. And I believe, I'm not really sure where it is. Okay, USB goes somewhere over on the side. Alright, and reset the printer. Okay. So new firmware is available. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I guess, flash. Sounds good. Okay, so now it's flashing the new firmware. So one of the things it says here is that the Minda, so it's no longer the Pinda, it's the Minda sensor is set from the factory. Well, that's good because that was always a pain trying to set that. So I think I've pretty much got it all set up here. Alright, welcome to the original Prusa Mini setup wizard. Do I want to continue? Yes, of course. Alright, is the filament sensor connected? No, because I'm not doing filament sensor. Okay. So it says the status bar is at the bottom of the screen. It contains information about nozzle temp, heat bed temp, printing speed, Z-axis, and selected filament. Okay. Oh, and something I forgot to do was take this little screen thingy off. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can reach that tab there. Hopefully I don't end up damaging this. Ouch. Or damaging my finger. Yeah, for some reason that's kind of caught in the corner, so I'll play with that later. But I wanted to see it. So I do see it at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Alright, it's going to do a self-test. So now it's testing the fan. It's testing the hot end. Checking the axis. Looks good. Alright, I must have connected everything properly. I mean, there were only a few connections, so... Oh! That didn't sound too good. So I'm not sure what that... I think that loud motor was when it was trying to move the X all the way over. Hopefully nothing's too screwed up there. Yeah, mini Pinda. I think you're right, Michael. That's what Minda is. Yeah, so I mean, compared to... So I also have an Ender 3. I have a CR10. I have a Hypercube. So compared to that, I am smelling the heat, like some burn off. So it's definitely heating up properly. But anyway, compared to some of those other printers, I would say this was definitely easier. Less steps. I don't remember. I think it probably took me an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to build a Ender 3, but it's been a while. It's probably been about a year. So I think if you were really proficient and knew what you were doing, probably you could do this in a half hour to 45 minutes easily. Alright, so now it's going to do... Oh, okay. So it says all tests finished successfully. Alright. So now it's so it wants to load some filament, so we're going to try and get some filament put in this guy. Hopefully, I know this isn't the greatest filament, but it'll do for a test, I think. Actually, I'm going to do it. Yeah. It's always fun loading a Bowden. So I prefer direct drive. However, I do have a Bowden on my Hypercube, and it's just fine. Move that over. Okay, so I think I've got it all the way to the point where it's ready for it to take it in. Let me just reduce the slack here. Okay, so calibrate, what does it say? So it looks like it heated the hot end, which is fine. And then I guess I need to press load. Alright. I'm going to do PLA. So it says loading the filament. I don't know if it's... Okay. Alright, yep, I feel it drawing it now. Oh, goodness. Wow, it's pushing it in fast. Yeah, 8 hours. I think, Nate, it probably took me a little bit longer. Yeah, Michael, I'm not sure if something was backwards. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Is the color correct? I don't see any color yet. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. Oh, it's just barely coming out, but yes. Alright. Now let's calibrate the distance between the tip of the nozzle and the print sheet. Okay. In the next step, use the knob to adjust the nozzle height. Check the pictures in the handbook. Yeah, I know this part. So... this is interesting. So I think what it's going to do, yep, it's going to home. Ooh. Oh, okay. So it's interesting. The home position is towards the middle rather than in the other corner. So now it's going to do its first layer calibration, which I've done this a time or two, so hopefully I can get it the first try. Now again, on the Mark III, I assume it's similar. Alright, so now it's doing, looks like probably, I'm guessing 16 points on the Pinda test. So far, so good. One of the things that I wasn't real happy about on the Prusa Mark III or the 2 was the Pinda, because it tended to suffer from temperature drift. and depending on the room temperature, I would have to adjust the Z quite a bit. So I'm hoping with the Minda, as it's called now, that it's maybe a little improved over that. I believe they do have a thermistor in it. Okay, so here's where I have to adjust the Z. Well, not quite yet, because it's doing the... looks like I'm a little high. Alright. Oh, wow. Yeah, a little high, so I'm going to go lower. I'm going to try... So I'm turning it left to go lower. I'm guessing I need to be down maybe... Yeah, quite a bit lower, actually. Ooh, maybe too low. Yeah, I think I went a little too low. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm at about... Oh, wow. Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, it's not. So I'm down. Man, it's still not sticking yet. So I'm down 0.5. Geez, still not sticking. Let's try 0.6. I don't know what the normal range is here, but... yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems to be printing now, but I'm pretty sure I need to try that again. So I'm at about a negative 0.6. And it looks like it's still too high. I'm going to try like a negative 0.7 maybe. Yeah, so I need to go lower. So I'm going to have to do this again. So do you want to repeat the last step and readjust? Yes, I do. So I'm going to do that again. And I want to start, it's asking me if I want to start at the negative 0.672. Oh, here we go. So Andrew Paluski, sorry if I'm butchering that, says a negative 1.22 was maybe what he had on his. Or is that what you're guessing it needs to be? Either way, yeah, it needs to come down. So thanks for jumping in there, Andrew. So it must be doing sensorless homing, which is why you hear the little crunching sound. I always kind of wonder how good that is. I've got 2209s on one of my machines, but I have not used it yet. I tend to prefer the optical end stops or the mechanical. I just don't like the idea of a stepper motor, kind of grinding. Although, it's probably not anything to worry about. So I think the Mark III has had it for a while. I've also heard, though, that it's less accurate than optical switches. Alright, so doing the purge line. Actually, yeah, the purge line looks better. I'm going to try going, let's try going negative 750. Oh yeah, and still, nope, still doesn't want to stick. Alright, we're going to try, man, I wish I could see it a little better, but I don't know, maybe it's the, I am printing PLA, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't PETG or something. I got to keep going. I just don't want to dig into the bed. So I'm going to go, alright, let's try negative, we'll go all the way down to -1. Alright, now we're starting to get adhesion. So yeah, I just was, yeah, okay. So I think I'm at right at a -1 now. And yeah, I'm thinking a little bit lower even. So I think Andrew was pretty close there. Okay. Yeah, maybe even, we'll try -1.1. I think that's what he had suggested. Yeah, that seems to be pretty good. Okay. Alright, so we're at a -1.1. The square's looking pretty good. You know, this probably isn't the best filament to try because I have had problems with it in the past, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So it looks like it's sticking now. But yeah, the worst thing you can do is scratch up your brand new PEI sheet. That's part of the reason I wanted to use. Yeah, that looks really good. So I'm going to try to show that on camera. Yeah. All right. Do you want to repeat the last step? No, I think I'm happy with that. All right. So Wizard OK. So that's good news. So happy printing. Okay. Oh, apparently there's a gear on here that I can print. Yeah, so I'm just double checking. That looks good. It looks like I could even go down a little lower, but we'll just get going here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to print this gear knob or bolt, whatever you want to call that. Nut. There we go. It's the nut 150. So I think that's the layer. So it's probably a 0.15 layer height. Okay. So it's heating the bed. So I don't know if you guys can see the screen, but the screen has a lot of good information on it. I like the layout. It's kind of different than your standard Marlin view. Okay, what's also interesting is that it's only heating to 170. I believe that's because of the Minda. So I think it wants a consistent temperature in order to do the bed leveling. So it's kind of holding there. And I know I should still be able to lower that Z a little bit more if I want to, which I think Andrew might be right on. So he said a negative 1.222. I think I'm gonna try a negative 1.2 because it looked like when I peeled that off I could still go a little bit lower. So I'm gonna see if I have the opportunity to change it. All right, so now it's heating back. It's heating to the proper PLA temperature of 215. That's actually a little bit hotter than what I like to run it, but that's fine. I mean, anywhere between 190 and 220 is usually good for PLA. And I know this inland likes to be a little hotter. So yeah, the purge line looks pretty good. It's pretty low. No concerns there. All right, so let's see if we can. Oh, there. I don't see how I can lower it, but all right, maybe tune. Okay, yeah, there's live adjust. So I'm going to go down to 1.2 just to see if that helps me. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I did tune. It let me jump right in there, and it's looking pretty good, honestly. I don't think it's going to peel off. All right, guys. I'll just keep it going. So, yeah, I think Andrew, it looks like a 1.2. I'm looking at that first layer, and it looks right on. So I think you had the right idea there. So 1.2, maybe that's, if they set them all at the factory at the same height, which I would think they probably do, although I don't know. I'm guessing they've got some kind of jig or template. But yeah, that looks like a perfect first layer. Let me try to zoom in a little bit on that so you guys can see. Hopefully I can get this a little closer. So I'm going to make that window bigger so you can see it close up. Here we go. Yeah, so that's looking really good. Honestly, I mean, I started this thing at probably 6:45 when I started the stream. It's 8:30 now, so you know, in less than 2 hours, I have this thing printing. So I gotta say that's pretty good. And that's even with, you know, you guys saw me kind of goofing up a few things if you're on the stream the whole time. So yeah, I think this is a really nice build, easy to go, easy to get up and running. And it's also very quiet. I mean, honestly, I don't even hear it. One thing that I don't know if the hot end fan's running or not. Yeah, it is. Wow, it's just a really quiet fan. I don't even. I hear my laptop fan, and I hear my CR10 fan, which has Titan arrows on it, across the room. And I just realized that's interesting. I just realized my other camera got screwed up. If I can fix that. Oh wow, it's cruising now. All right, thanks, Osley. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, came together pretty quick, and seems to be no issues. So, all right. Yeah, good to hear. So I see a few of you guys have some more coming in. So I think you know, there's really no problems here. No crazy things. I think the hardest thing I had was probably the T-nuts. You know, getting the T-nuts in, and I don't necessarily have any good tips right now on how to do any better. Just try to build it on a flat surface, because I think on this surface the table is a little bit squishy, so it wasn't lining up very well. All right, guys. Anybody have any other questions? I'll let it keep going here. I'll adjust the camera so you can see it printing. There we go. Box out of the way. See, I think Prusa's definitely got a good product here. Very easy build. You know, the build plate, it's 7x7. I don't think it's bad. I mean, one of my first printers was even less than that. I can't remember what the MakerBot was, but it was probably 8x5 maybe. I think it's plenty big enough for a lot of things. Probably complements a Prusa Mk2 or a CR10, you know, which has an even bigger bed. I think it complements it nicely. One of the things that I'm planning on doing with mine is I might even put a 0.25 millimeter nozzle on there so I can print even smaller. You know, more of the smaller detailed stuff. But beyond that, I just wanted, you know, one of the things I like about the Prusas are they're very reliable. I know lately I've had several fans and power supplies, thermistors. I think all those went out on my printers in the last 2 weeks. I'm not saying that Prusa is a ton better, but my experience with the Prusa is that they definitely last longer and the parts tend to do better. Brian, I see you have a question about it being, is it loud? Actually, it's probably the quietest printer I own now, and all my printers have 32-bit boards with TMC 2208s or 2209s, so I can't even hear the fan. And I believe that there should be a part fan on this, so it's past the first layer. Yeah, the part fan's going. I can't hear the part fan or the hot end fan, so the only thing I hear is maybe the bearings moving around, the linear bearings on the bed. So it's very quiet. And in fact, I'm going to try to find out what kind of fans they're using. It just says Prusa on there, so it's got a Prusa sticker. But the other thing is that the hot end, I don't know if you guys have seen the Himera yet, but it's got a similar kind of cooling fin design on it. It's kind of hard to see from that angle. But basically, there's grooves, and then the air just kind of flows through those grooves. So I think what that means is it needs a lower speed fan to do the same kind of air circulation. So you're getting a big benefit of that. Yeah, so definitely if you're getting one of these, it's very quiet. So I'd like to maybe put a similar design. I am planning on putting a Hemera on at least one of my printers, maybe all of them, but I want to try one out first. But I don't know. I mean, and then the other thing, there's actually no fan in the control box that I noticed. If there is, it was hidden pretty well. So they must not feel that there's a need for one. But I'm putting my hand over it right now. I don't really feel any heat, so it must be fine. Yeah, it's doing really well. I'm guessing, I don't know what. Okay, so it says it's 8% done, about an hour and a half remaining. I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I'm gonna keep the live stream going for too much longer. I didn't really want to, go all night on this. But what I'll do is, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter alias is right there, or Twitter handle. So it's @GregHuber. So feel free to follow me, and I will post the bolt design when I'm done. And any last questions before I end the stream? And and I appreciate all the likes, and please subscribe. I will probably, hopefully within the next few weeks, I do plan on doing some kind of a giveaway once I hit 100 subscribers. So I'll also be tweeting about that when I'm ready to do that stream. So please subscribe if you haven't. And I have some other videos on my channel. One of the things that I'm gearing up for right now is there's a software developer conference that I help organize called CodeMesh, and we have a makerspace area there. And I'm going to be I'm going to be running that makerspace and probably live streaming from there. We'll also have the Prusa Mini there, and I have some videos that are coming out on some of our projects that we're going to be building. So a lot of them are electronics. Mr. Smith asks, what day did I order my Mini? So I ordered it on October 12th, which was the day that it was announced at ERRF, and I want to say I was within the first 30 minutes to an hour of when Prusa tweeted it, because I was not actually at ERRF. So if you guys are interested in getting an idea of when your printer may ship, if you go to Reddit, there's a thread. Let me post the link here. There's the Prusa 3D sub, and there is a thread there where people are keeping a spreadsheet updated on this. So unfortunately, I don't know if I can find the exact one, but I'll post a link right here so you guys know where to go. So there is kind of like an open source, people put the last 5 digits of their order number in there, and then what Prusa had said was anyone who ordered on the 12th, and I think he had like 1,000 orders that day, they should be getting it before Christmas. So if you ordered yours, right away, like I did, even if it was later in that day, you should have it within the next week. So I hope everyone gets there soon, and I hope everyone enjoys, the printer. I think I'm going to enjoy it. I've actually got a lot of plans for it. Got some large parts that I'll be printing soon on it as well. But yeah, I mean, it looks like a great printer. So first impressions are definitely good. And go ahead, feel free to follow me on Twitter. I'll probably get another video or two up, probably on the Prusa and some of the things I'm printing. So, all right, thanks everyone for watching, and hope you enjoyed my stream. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.